What the fuck is up, everybody? And welcome back to another edition of Tony's Corner, a Great Girth segment. I'm your host, Tony, and today we're talking about a little gem from the 90s that I love called Tremors. Just saying the name, dude, takes me right back. Picture this, okay? It's 1999. I'm 7 years old, sneaking into my dad's room to see giant worms from the earth, dude. Kevin Bacon shaking his hips like it's fucking Footloose all over again. And enough of those one-liners to fill a survival kit. If you haven't seen it, well, what are you waiting for? Well, hold on, stick around, because I'm giving you the full rundown. Pretty much like, why this is a masterpiece of, B-rated film, why it holds up like a pair of indestructible work boots, and why it makes me all nostalgic for a time when blockbusters didn't need capes or CGI overloads. First off, let's set the stage. Tremors hit theaters on January 19th, 1990, directed by this upcoming guy named Ron Underwood. You might know him from stuff like City Slickers, later on down the road, but this was his big splash. Budget-wise, a measly $11 million bucks. That's pocket change compared to today's like superhero flicks. But oh boy, did they make every penny count. This script, penned by S.S. Wilson and Brent Maddock, two dudes who loved old school monster movies like The Blob and wanted to flip the script, no vampires or no slashers really. These dudes really just dreamed up Graboids. Massive underground serpents that sense vibrations and snatch you faster than you can say, oh fuck. And the setting, Perfection, Nevada. A dusty, forgotten speck of a town in the middle of nowhere. Population, 14. Give or take a few unlucky souls. It's got that classic Western feel, but with a horror twist. Think like High Noon meets Jaws, but the shark's buried 6 feet under. Starring none other than Kevin Bacon as Valentine or Val, the laid-back handyman with a heart of gold and a mouth full of sass. Paired with Fred Ward, of course, who plays Earl Bassett, his grizzled partner in crime who's equal parts tough guy and reluctant hero. And, rounding out that cast, Michael Gross as Burt Gummer, the paranoid survivalist who's basically like a live-action Red Dawn prepper, and his wife, played by the queen of country herself, Reba McEntire. Anyway, Finn Carter as the scientist love interest and a bunch of small-town eccentrics who feel like they stepped out of a John Carpenter film. What I love about the production is how it captures that late 80s, early 90s indie spirit, especially that. They filmed it mostly in Utah's Badlands. Those red rock formations that look like another planet, essentially. No green screen back then, of course. It was all practical effects. And the Graboids? Puppets, dude. Animatronics and some clever editing, of course. I remember reading in Fangoria magazine back in the day. Yeah, dude, I was that kid. I read about how they built these massive worm props that could actually swallow the actors. No CGI shortcuts of any kind, just good old-fashioned movie magic. Dude, the nostalgia hits hard in this one. This is that era of filmmaking. It was raw, fun. It trusted the audience to laugh and scream in equal measure. All right, before we get into the meat of this thing, a quick spoiler warning. If you've been living under a rock, pun very much intended, and you haven't seen Tremors yet, pause this episode and go watch it. It's on streaming everywhere these days, you know what I mean? Come back, we'll wait. I'm just kidding. Okay, assuming you're caught up or don't mind the details, let's talk plot. But not just a dry recap, no way. This is Tony's Corner, so we're going to be reliving it like it is the 1990s all over again. Here we go. So Val and Earl are these two good old boys scraping by in perfection, right? Fixing fences and dodging responsibility. Val's got dreams of getting out of town, maybe finding a better life with Rhonda, the seismologist gal who's, I hope I said that right, mapping earthquakes. Dude, it's funny because in the film, there is a part where they literally, they have to correct each other. It's between Val and his buddy, and they're like, no, psychologist, no, geologist, seismologist. There's a point in time where she has to correct them both. You guys are both wrong. So hopefully I said it right. Most likely not. But speaking of which, Earl, yeah, he is the guy that's content with his truck, his buddy, and that 6-pack of beer. But then the ground starts to shake. Not your garden variety quake either, mind you. People start disappearing. A sheep herder gets yanked underground, dude, mid-conversation. A road worker's head vanishes into the asphalt like it's quicksand, and soon the whole town's on edge, literally. Turns out these aren't just tremors. They're what we call graboids. Blind, but they hear vibrations. Through their, tentacles, eels, whatever these creepy appendages are, they pop up, grab you, and pretty much down you for a dirt nap. The beauty of the plot, though, is how it unfolds in real time. Our heroes, Val and Earl, stumble into that mess, teaming up with the locals. Burton is our sole arsenal that could supply a small Milita. The store owners, who's like more worried about inventory than survival, and then there's Rhonda with her science smarts. They hole up in the rock store, then the diner, then Bert's bunker. Each spot's pretty much like a mini survival game. It's the thing in a tumbleweed town, there you go, but with heart and humor. And remember that scene where Val and Earl are like on the rocks, dude? They're trying to bait the graboid with a stick of dynamite. Or how about when they pole vault over things like it's the Olympics? Pure adrenaline, dude. And the twist, without giving too much away for the uninitiated, the graboids evolve. They get smarter, sneakier. It's not just mindless munching. It's a cat and mouse game where basically the mice have to outthink the earth shakers. There we go. Clocking in at a tight 96 minutes, the pacing is flawless. No filler, no slow burns that drag. Every scene ramps up that high stakes while cracking you up at the same time. Like when Earl says, "This valley ain't big enough for both of us." Classic Western nod, but with worms. Or Val's line about, graboids being like a Twinkie, 200 feet of tube-shaped gooey deliciousness. Now let's get in depth, folks. What makes Tremors not just good, but great? Well, we'll start with the leads, Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward. Bacon, he's electric. Fresh off Footloose, of course, and she's having a baby. He's got that boyish charm mixed with street smarts. Now, Val, on the other hand, he's not some macho action hero. He's relatable. He's scared. He's funny. He's the guy you'd probably want watching your back when the apocalypse hits. Watch him dance around that graboid, dude. It's got more energy than a spring break party. And Fred Ward, underrated legend, dude. Earl's the straight man to Val's wild card. But Ward brings this world-weary wisdom that's kind of gold. And their banter, dude, that's they're an old couple. Dynamic, they're that old dynamic from 100 buddy comedies maybe. But with life or death stakes, if you will. We can't just sit here waiting for him to come get us. That's what Earl would growl, and then Val would look at him and say, "Well, what do you suggest we do? Announce ourselves?" They play off each other so well. It's like they've been pals since birth. I would argue that's how a lot of these characters are. And then there's Reba. Holy cow, dude. What a debut. She's Heather, Bert's wife in the movie. She's tough as nails, dude. Quoting gun specs like poetry. You know that scene in the gun shop? That's iconic. She's got a shotgun bigger than her ego, and she wields it like a pro. Reba brings this fiery, almost this energy that's absurd, but great at the same time. And don't sleep on Michael Gross. I hope I'm saying his name right, man. Everyone's favorite dad from Family Ties turns into Burt Gummer. Now, he is the ultimate survival nut. His transformation from comic relief to worm-slaying badass is dude, chef's kiss. Finn Carter's Rhonda adds that brain, sexy, smart, and it kind of screams with authentic. You know what I'm talking about. It's authentic. It looks authentic anyway, at least for the material we're given, right? The assemble, it just feels lived in. These folks have known each other forever. At least that's how it feels. There's no wooden performances here. It's all chemistry, literally all chemistry. Directing wise, Ron Underwood nails the tone. He balances horror and humor like a pro, dude. The scares are jump out of your seat good, but they're never cheap. Those underground rumbles build dread slowly. Your heart pounds waiting for the pop-up. But the comedy, dude, it's organic. It's not forced either. It's in the dialogue, the situations, the characters, their reactions, dude. Think about the practical effects. The graboids look real. Squishy, slimy, and just kind of gross, dude. No rubbery fakeness. They build tension with shadows and sounds. The editing keeps it snappy, quick cuts during chases, lingering shots on the vast desert to amp up that isolation. And visually, dude, those wide shots of the valley, they make you feel small, almost vulnerable. It's like a love letter to the monster genre. Poking fun at tropes while honoring them at the same time. You remember Creature from the Black Lagoon? Yeah, this is that, but underground and funnier. But let's talk about them themes, because Tremors isn't just worms and, wisecracks. It does have themes. It's, at its core, it's about friendship, really, the kind that gets tested when the ground literally swallows your world. Val and Earl, they start as drifters, but by the end, they're bonded for life. It's that small town solidarity, too. I would argue that folks who bicker and borrow tools end up kind of getting your back when push comes to shove. You know, they lunged to take care of you. There's a nostalgia there for simpler times that's baked into this film. Perfection Nevada, it's America in a pastime, forgotten, feisty, full of hidden strengths. Oh, and the Graboids, dude, metaphor for the unknown, the changes that we can't see coming. In 1990, with the Cold War ending and the world shifting, it felt timely, dude. Fear the unseen, but face it together. Underdogs triumphing over nature's wrath. Classic hero's journey, but with no heart. Just kidding, with heart. But there is no, like, preachiness. There you go. It's all wrapped in popcorn fun. That's why it resonates. Watch it today and it still feels fresh. Like a reminder that sometimes the best stories are about everyday heroes grabbing a pitchfork and fighting back. Now, legacy wise, Tremors bombed at the box office. It did bomb. It made like 17 million. But home video turned it into a cult classic. Sci-Fi Channel marathons it, dude, especially in the 2000s. That shit was legendary. I used to love that. It's got 5 sequels now, a TV series, even a prequel. Burt Gummer got his own little spin-off, dude. Movies, I would argue. And that fan base is rabid, dude. Like the conventions, the cosplay, people dressed as Graboids and tentacles and all that shit. It's pretty much everywhere, dude. It's influenced stuff like Stranger Things with its small town monster vibes. Or It Comes at Night, for example, with the isolation. But mostly, it's a testament to practical effects in a CGI world. Go watch modern horror. It's all jump scares and filters. Tremors earns the scares. And culturally, it puts Utah on the map as a filming spot. Boosted Reba's acting cred. She's a riot in interviews talking about it. And gave us memes that still pop up, dude. It's 2025. With all of our like doom scrolling, we need more movies like this. It's an escape that remind us to laugh at monsters under the bed or the ground. So wrapping this up before I ramble on, and trust me, I will. I love this movie. Tremors will go down in history as legendary. That is my official rating for it. Maybe that's me being biased because I absolutely love this movie, but I believe this is a legendary film. It is one that we are still talking about today. It's one that I've showed my children they love. It's one that my wife has never seen, and she actually watched the entire thing with me. Same thing, she was like, it's very tame, but it's also kind of entertaining at the same time. Dude, it's a legendary, masterful film. It is not perfect, all right? Like, keep in mind, the pacing dips a tad, like in the middle. And some of the effects show their age, sure, but that's part of the charm. It's joyful and inventive, and yeah, like I've been saying, it's nostalgic all around. If you're a fan of horror, comedy, even westerns, or just like good old-fashioned fun, hunt this down. Stream it, rent it, whatever. You'll leave grinning, maybe check in your backyard for tunnels like I did when I was a kid. Thanks for joining me on Tony's Corner. And please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to check out the Great Girls Podcast if you're looking for something a little more political and unfiltered content. There we go. From yours truly. Otherwise, thank you for watching. And as always, folks, remember to stay rad.